Hello the channel, welcome back. It's deadline day, also deadline day tomorrow for the weekend's game week, so we're going to have an hour look at the weekend, pick some teams, do some line-up work, and just a wee update generally speaking in terms of the gallery as well. So as always, I hope everyone's well. I'm moving myself out of the way here so that we can have a quick look at the gallery too. So good news, Mickey van der Hart. I think he was a tier 4 super rare win. Non-playing goalkeeper. I know that a lot of people are usually a bit upset about non-playing goalkeepers, etc. Hang on. Move myself to a more appropriate place. I'm writing Jens Peter Hogg's heat there. Non-playing goalkeeper and all that sort of stuff. I know that people are not happy when they get players who are not. I guess in those tiers, it's probably a wee bit better than actually getting someone who does play and is 15 quid or whatever and he's sold today. So that's good news. Bad news, sorry for holders of Noppert. Antoine Griezmann coming in. A couple of reasons for this. The guy is just very good. I've never owned a Griezmann, which is kind of bonkers. Don't know why, just the past, always found Champ quite competitive. Now there's more cash rewards in Champ. We've got Euros coming up. There's been a lot of involvement with La Liga and recent promotions, etc. So I just thought kind of made sense. There's 32 just now. It's a new season card, and he said one of these guys seems to quite like America. He's talked about that before, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, he's not going to go to Saudi Arabia, but it seems the type of guy maybe he'll get another year or two at Atletico, and you just don't know. I mean, Benzema was still playing at a real high level at 35, etc. So fingers crossed he keeps smashing it. Zach Kemen have picked up for next midweek, just a wee pick up there. Mike Novrocky, one of the stories this week has been Carter Vickers looks to be injured again, so we'll have a wee look at Playsharper as well, actually, after we've had a look at the preview team news. But does look like he's injured in some way. Celtic were trying to block the Lagerbielke deal, which was going through with Lecce, and that's when the news broke. So from that perspective, brought in Novrocky. He's only 22, 400 quid for a super rare for a guy who doesn't always plays a lot of money, but he's this young super rare at Celtic. I know he's a good player. Celtic paid a good amount of money for him. He's not always first choice, but plays in a real high scoring team. So I brought him in. I'm expecting Vickers to be out this weekend. I'd be highly surprised if he's not out after Celtic trying to stop the Lagerbielke deal. And we'll see whether that deal goes through today or not. Apparently he wants to go. So there we go. So we're going to have a quick look at the game week preview. We had a quick look at this before during the week, making some jokes about Livingston, which will probably get me done for defamation. So let's just skip over that and we'll go back to our usual metrics of expected team goals and expected win percentages. Firstly, this spreadsheet again is from Egal at Sorare Probabilities, SL_probabilities. It will give you a free trial of this. He's on Twitter, message him. This is not my spreadsheet, although the information is specific to the teams or players that I've got, which is magic. And I love using it. It's been really good for the content. Actually been good for the content, I think, but it's been good for picking teams and making good decisions. So Bayern Munich seem to have the best fixture in terms of expected team goals. I find this a funny one because Borussia Mönchengladbach usually do pretty well against Bayern and München in Germany. So there we go, that's quite interesting. Another thing I'm kind of thinking about, Kimmich is injured just now, so going forward towards Euros, that'd be an interesting one in terms of the list. They'll want to try and maybe pick him up for that. There's also some talk that maybe he won't stay at Bayern Munich after this season, so that's all pretty interesting as well. I think, the whole market's dropped a bit, but also there's a wee bit of sentiment around him with Sané taking sets and things, but you'd imagine he'll be a really important player for Germany. Germany at home, so, with them being at home, good chance of advancing to the later stages, I think. Benfica, pretty good fixture, so 57% expect a clean sheet and 2.7 expected team goals. So definitely, I mean, for Gil Vicente, I think are mid-table, but that's pretty good. Leverkusen, so again, Darmstadt. Darmstadt are no mugs, but pretty sure Bayern took a lot of goals off them. So can really see where that 2.4 expected team goals comes from. So a bit disappointed in Leverkusen not scoring against Mönchengladbach. So that's a bit of a surprise. And I lost my rivals match, which is pretty hard to do with like a super rare and free rares or whatever. But it's what it is. But Leverkusen have been excellent, and we expect them to bounce back. No offence to Darmstadt. FC Porto, pretty interesting cards. Been minted again as well. Really high clean sheet percentage. So Diogo Costa, quite an interesting one. He's dipped. So people ask me why he's dipped. Well, that's him coming to the end of his under 23 utility. He is an international goalkeeper as well, so you'll get a lot of utility. But under 23 goalkeepers do carry a premium, and he always has carried a premium. So okay, he's cheaper now, but realistically, Trubin should be worth more than him on Sorare because he's got multiple years of under 23s left. You can argue who's better goalkeeper and all that type of stuff. He's a Portuguese goalkeeper, so probably still a good pickup. Rijeka against Istra. Quite a funny team, Rijeka. I mean, I remember it was midweek and people were saying, you get a full under 23 stack and they get gubbed. So, but Istra's a pretty good fixture. 20. See, might be bringing in Miriam Boadu. That'd be a nice move. I mean, he scored a lot of goals at AZ. He's not an 80 guy. He's a kind of 70 or a 35 type guy. But I imagine it'd be a pretty good move to get him in for Ugalde, proven in that league. Southampton against Rotherham. It's good to see. I think David Brooks moved to Southampton. That should be a good move for him. Hope he's healthy as well. There's a lot of issues, that guy. So, touch wood, everything's okay. Utrecht against Volendam. So, Utrecht, big Barkas. Shall we take him back? He's away now. So yeah, we'll come back to him. We've only got a limited right enough, but pretty good fixture. Celtic against Aberdeen. So we'll come back to that in a wee minute. I'm going to have a look at the Playsharper. Dynamo Zagreb, pretty high clean sheet percentage. I've not found them that reliable. Special mention to Universitario. If anyone's hardcore in terms of Sorare, in terms of alternative leagues, then they are a team that people probably will follow as well. Apologies for a slight blip there. I was just trying to make sure the screen was loaded up before we go through this as well. Must say, Playsharper is looking a lot better. So we update. It's looking pretty good. It's good information on here. Quite enjoy being an expert as well. I mean, I'm doing my best for you guys to give you the accurate information. At the end of the day, it's just a lineup prediction. It's not gospel. But, if we keep you as updated as possible, we will do. Joe Hart. So, Joe Hart, no news about goalkeepers, no news about what he's going to do in the summer, no renewal. Rogers commented, I think, that they would probably try and set that up or finalise that in the summer. So, unless Joe Hart decides or comes out and says, look, I'm away to the MLS or whatever, still to be resolved, although it could well be his last season. 5 clean sheets in 6 games, though. This will be a harder game. 12:30 kick-off. Aberdeen away is traditionally quite a tough game. Celtic did beat them 3-1 there earlier on in the season. Barry Robson has also been sacked this week, so there's loads of moving parts there. But Celtic, funnily enough, sometimes struggle to play against teams who sit in at home. So if Aberdeen have any type of go at us, you can see Celtic scoring a few goals, hopefully. Well, I did predict 6-7-0 against Ross County and 1-1-0, but we missed 2 penalties as well, albeit the same one. Bernabei in at left back, and this is an interesting one. I mean, there's talk that Celtic will look for a left back today. Greg Taylor's still injured. I don't know who that's going to be at this stage. The window doesn't close until tonight. I want to get this out in enough time for people. So Bernabei would be the natural selection, although Rogers might opt to go with somebody a bit more defensive, and that's why I put Tony Ralston in here. Bernabei did score pretty highly the last game, but I'm not sure Celtic fans were overly impressed with him, but that's nothing really too new. Liam Scales, well, can we say about the guy? He's been sensational last season. Mike Novrocky, so I've got him in at 95%. It's probably a touch high, but I was quite confident that he'll come in for Vickers. I bought him. I'm going to select him in some teams, I think. As for it is, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's, the strategy is try to pick teams where there's a good chance of favourable results, obviously. Alistair Johnson back on better form. You know, he got a goal, it's a jammy deflection, but he is looking a bit more like himself after the break, which is good. He played a lot of football, played for Canada, all that sort of stuff, and I think the break's done him good. He is a real good player, but he is, you know, certain type of player. He's not a guy who's, you know, a real attacking fullback. He likes to try and get forward and help out, but you know, sometimes he's kind of in nosebleed territory. But really nice average, good solid player. Love him, good character. That's nothing nothing to do with his average score for this weekend. So moving on, Callum McGregor again. Played last game 95%. Not much to say there. Matt O'Reilly. Everybody crapping their panties when Atletico Madrid come in. I mean, Atletico Madrid or teams of that ilk come in with 30 million in the summer. Well, that's going to be hard to turn down. But Celtic board have set out their stance, so they may well make him stay. He's under 23s next season. Now I've got a Griezmann. Maybe I'll have a Matt O'Reilly and Griezmann stack next season. I do fancy he'll still do pretty well, even in a league like La Liga, and everybody automatically panics. Will he keep up an average of 65 or whatever? Well, that's going to be hard, but because it's still higher level opposition. But Matt O'Reilly was man of the match against Atletico Madrid at Celtic Park, so don't automatically assume that because he's went there, his scores are going to suffer. If they do spend 30 million on him, I'd expect him to be playing as well. Even Vermeeren got a start midweek, which was a wee bit of a surprise with Atletico rotated a bit. Paulo Bernardo, well, Hatate's still at the Asian Cup. He's also picked up a calf injury, which is bad news. So that should be updated in the injury section. He's not due back yet anyway. Nobody knows how long that's going to be. Hopefully it's just a minor one. May still be in the mix after Japan are out, but waiting news on that. Luis Palma missed the 2 penalties. Let's see. He might not get a penalty the weekend, but wouldn't be at all surprised if that situation changed. Personally, I think he's a good penalty taker. He looks quite confident. Celtic have had issues with penalties though. For me, the natural thing would just be given Furuhashi. He's the striker. He starts every week. His goal scoring record has not been as good this season because sometimes we struggle to get involved in the game, but you know, he's going to start weekend. I think Adam Ida coming in, I don't think is a serious threat to Furuhashi's place. I think that what we're doing there is covering that position whilst O is at the Asian Games, and he's not going to be a permanent, there's no option to buy or anything. If he smashes it, we could still try and buy him, but you know, he's an Irish internationalist, but I just think it's a cover type thing. And if there's any main business to be done in the summer. Leo Labada, I mean, I've downgraded his percentage a wee bit. Nicholas Kuhn did come on last game. Only played 25 minutes, so I'd say he's got improved chances of starting this game, but you know, Abada is most likely. That said, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Kuhn started either. So there we go. So we're going to have a quick look, see what we're looking like scores wise, and then we're going to pick a couple of teams. With the transfer window, and I probably won't pick as many teams as usual, but we'll pick some topical ones. I always like to get the under 23s out and, you know, pick Celtic, and we'll have had a good discussion about Celtic as usual. So Barkas, the highest projected scores. I've got this at All-Star and all, so that's the basically all players. Barkas projects 65. So if you're new to this, you see the win percentages, clean sheet percentages, last 15 averages. PS is projected score. So fair play to you, Gal. I don't know how you've developed some Aspie or some man. So Hradecki, 58. Now again, he's away from home, but it's Darmstadt. So clean sheet percentage 46. They're not usually that high in terms of them. He didn't play the last game, but apparently it was to try and get your man Kova or some experience before the final cup or whatever. I don't know. He's been playing in Europe, so I'll need to keep an eye on Playsharper for that. But you know, he comes into contention. Scores. Jordi Petrovic battered by Liverpool. Liverpool really good. Trubin, just love the guy, man. Honestly, I think I owned a goalkeeper card, but it was my referral thing at that time. But Trubin, I think, was like the first goalkeeper I actually bought on Sorare 3.5 years ago. Bonkers. Philip Jorgensen projected 55. Believe that when I see it. Mesley, I've got Mesley up for sale. no specific reason other than I've used him through the winter and everything. He's still under 23, he's still a class goalkeeper. Just think I'm going to pass him on now, to be honest. I do have other options in terms of under 23s. I've added in some other guys, and there's plenty of games left in the Championship, for example. So it's a good option for people, but probably going to sell him on now. So if anybody's looking for one, he is up for sale. Franco Petroli is only a limited card, but nice to see him getting games. Campolat, 54 is quite high. Joe Hart, not as high as usual, to be honest, but it's a away game. Kieran Trippier is pretty interesting, 78 projected. Nico Schlotterbeck is always kind of up there. Tapsoba, this will be wrong because the spreadsheet doesn't know that he's not going to play. Well, he might play actually, might be back from Burkina Faso. I think they get beat, but put in a great score of 0.4. Reece James, by the way, he's in any spreadsheet. There we go. Moritz Jensen, interesting one. Portis, Lenny Yoro. So it's a sneaky one, Lenny Yoro. You think he's young and everything, but obviously he's got pretty high expected scores, which is interesting. Nicholas Madsen, done well again midweek, getting a goal on pens as well, so always one worth considering. Hoffman, pretty high projected score. I think Breggio is still injured. Get Celtic guys in there. His hair is fine, he scores belters all the time. Stuart Armstrong, that's why we sing this song. We get back to Celtic so we can sing the song. Loved it. High projected score. Kokchu, pretty high. I think came off at half time last time, seemed kind of tactical. Tom Hay, nice to see Dewsbury Hall stay. I thought maybe he was going to move to the EPL. Max Arnold, thinking of a wee injury. There is an injury section in this, but usually I do my injury stuff through Playsharper as well, just to obviously predictions and injuries, so to see who the experts think is going to play. Rollheiser, not too sure he's going to play this early on for Benfica, but they've got a good fixture. Quentin Merlin thinks moved to Marseille actually. Yusuf Badji doesn't always start, but it's interesting. That's a good fixture, so that's probably good for Morioka. Jeremy Doku, Man City looking pretty strong now. It's getting to the stage where it's maybe a wee bit trickier with guys getting fit again. De Bruyne, Haaland getting minutes. Scott Olsen, Sarui, he's been pretty good as well in Holland. Nico Williams, nice to have a Nico Williams. I don't think Griez's appeared in this yet. I did try and import my players, but I think it's just still working on that because I just bought him today. So, as I said, this is filtered to the players that I've got. So, let's get in amongst it. So, first thing, bit of a shame there's no EPL special anymore, although it was good. So, there we go. Sure, the roadmap thing's due from Sorare soon, and we'll get some news about plans and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to go with my favourite picks here and just go with under 23s first. I think I'm only going to do that just now actually, just because there's a transfer window and everything on. It's just, so many moving goalposts, but quite interesting in terms of all the moves. So, but 23 is my favourite. We'll see if I run out of steam. You should be fed up listening to me at this point. No surprise, it's Tribune. Say I picked up a Zach Kemen. I've still got a Mesley limited as well. Probably not selling that, so we keep that on. So Tribune makes perfect sense. I was actually contemplating getting a sort of Benfica stack, The stacks don't always work well in under 23s, but you can make one, so that's pretty interesting. This is going to get a bit boring actually, because I think I just picked Nico Schlotterbeck every week, but you say it's against Heidenheim, isn't it? They've got a pretty good striker there actually. Owen Beck's probably come into reckoning. I mean, Hearts are no mugs as well, but he is on sets, etc. usually and playing at home, so kind of interesting to keep an eye on that. Sugawara's not back yet. Midfield wise, so as I say, Nicholas Kuhn's actually, I've got some mid cards and stuff here as well, just not nailed to play as yet, so that's an interesting thing. Could go pretty Benfica heavy here anyway, and just go with working Kokchu. It's probably got to go with Celtic as well. Well, not as well, but just Matt Riley's been better than Kokchu this season scoring wise, so yeah. That's what it is. People don't expect Celtic to score. That's when usually we score a couple, touchwood. So hopefully I'm not wrong. Well, we're not up there in terms of projected scores, which is interesting, but Aberdeen have not been good this season. Same manager just sacked. Alvarez, as I said, the only problem with Alvarez now is you've got Haaland back, right? So, but it's nice to see Haaland in the reckoning. Verts. Hang on. Where's he here? There must be some data missing or something here. Surely Verts should be on there. He should be. Must be probably just some data to be added. I'm going to go with Verts actually. And then Saka was pretty good last game. Liverpool do concede goals, but you know, although they concede goals, been really good this season, so it's a pretty hard fixture for Arsenal, has to be said. Then Luis Palma. I do have the highest XP Palma. This isn't really a Celtic stack, so I might actually use the lower XP one and just use the high XP one in an actual Celtic stack. People are wondering what the explanation for that is. Well, it's not a full stack, so there's less likelihood that this is going to be copied. If somebody does copy this, they're not going to be able to throw in a Matt O'Reilly 14%. So, and also if they buy a Trubin, this Trubin's actually leveled up and stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to go for that, and I think that's pretty fun. We'll do that in the 23 Rare Plus, and then probably do one more. So there's no EPL thing, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, as I said, it is what it is, and I'm sure, well, I do know, because Sorare do focus groups and all that sort of stuff. Sorare have been working on stuff as well, so we'll see when we get the news. I don't know when we'll get news either. So Trubin in goals again, although there's some interesting options here. I mean, Andreas Jungdal's been excellent. I wonder why he's not so high up there. Probably just a harder game, which makes sense. Happens from time to time. Where is he? So I think there's probably a wee bit of data. Must be a wee bit of data missing. Must be. Do update this every day, or Egal does, and it draws through the data. So I'm probably going to go with Trubin anyway, to be honest. Again, Schlotterbeck, do we go with a similar strategy? I suppose the eggs in one basket type stuff there, Could go with Antonio Silva against Gio Vicente as well. That kind of makes sense as a defensive stack. What do you see we've got super rare wise here? Because, this is going to be an interesting decision. So, I do quite like using Nicholas Madsen in terms of these. I must admit, he's been pretty reliable. So midfield, and he's got a high projected score, so that's always really interesting. Playing at home. I'm going to put him in the midfield slot just now, actually, just leave it completely open. Could go with Kokchu there as well. I mean, Benfica do have one of the best fixtures. I guess the advantage of that is I'm not going to be running Matt O'Reilly in there, but leaves him available for other sort of competitions, which is good. I dare say I'm probably going to have to go with Benfica lads in here, because if we're going to go with Trubin, then it kind of makes sense, right? Where are they? Yeah, I think there's definitely an issue with some data missing here, so I'm not going to pick too many. I know that they've got a good fixture, so I'm not going to go pick too many more lineup. Probably speak to a gal and see what the script there is. Probably just everything all been buggered up today as well, because you've got transfer deadline day and movements and all that sort of stuff. And forward line wise, we'll see if we're on anyway. Musiala's pretty interesting. 58, pretty high projected score. I don't have an Alvarez rare, so can't really play Alvarez there. Palma, again, interesting. I'm not really going much Celtic in here, so that's probably keeping to the stacks. Not many of these minted, so if he does smash it, it's pretty interesting differential. Musiala, we've got Taki Kubo's still at the Asian Cup. Can't use Alvarez, use two supers unless we move things around. Koki Saito, I think should be back soon, so that's pretty interesting. Sarui, as I said, really interesting one. Has to kind of come into the reckoning for usage. So I think we're going to go with Musiala actually. Just really like captaining him. He's one of those guys. He wins a lot of contests and stuff as well. So there we go. But I'm going to leave it at that. It does look as if there's a couple of guys missing. Probably me buggering about with trying to add in my Griezmann and stuff like that. So I want to get the updated information that before we do. But hopefully, thought processes and the sort of spreadsheet and also preview of the best or the most likely fixtures for producing good results is going to help people. As I said, if you want to get that information yourself, the gal will let you do a free trial, and that will give you a sort of go at it. Cost wise, I think it's around about €8 a month or something, but you can actually pay in advance, get a better deal and stuff. And it's nothing in that for me. It's just, the gal's letting me use the sheet and has been very helpful as well, which is great. There's other sort of useful stuff for it as well, like, I'm going to have a wee look. I've got it set up here actually, so have a final look. But in terms of player database, I've got that sort of set up myself in terms of guys who are a certain age, so 23 to 24. So you can filter to things like goalkeepers. So, we know that Kral, Koy, Diouf, Mandzukic and Petrovic are all 24, so they're going to time out. So that's kind of interesting for decision making. Something I'm going to be trying working on. I don't know if I'll do a video on it. Maybe I'll do a video on it actually. I think Zach Hemming's 23 but still times out. So guys like Wijndal, that's Schlotterbeck times out. Some heavy hitters going to be timing out in the summer. I might do a separate video on this, or I might just incorporate it in one of the videos, but it's interesting to know. David Turnbull's actually still under 23, no, not under 23 just now. He's moved. Yeah, he is. So I've changed this to under 23 eligible at the moment. So I think he's got to Cardiff, so that's pretty interesting. Get some sets and stuff there. That could be a pretty good card to have. Matt Swiefer times out. Mario Barrow, he's probably about 30 or something. He's definitely subject to one of those things where he's like being advanced when he's younger and all that sort of stuff. Jens Peter Hogger, Bodo, that excites me. I know I'm a sad man. Matt O'Reilly doesn't time out, so there we go. Cockshaw doesn't time out either, so I'm thinking ahead, and now my thinking is, and I know people are thinking about this game week, I'm thinking about the Euros, I'm thinking about next season as well. I think that does help a lot on Sorare, particularly because we're a bad spell just now. People say, I always wait and buy them at the time, but if there's something on for the Euros and you go buy cards in the summer, well, do you think they're going to be cheap? Don't know. Wouldn't have said so. Scott Wilson, Palma times out. I knew that anyway when I bought him. Alvarez times out, but he's a guy where I can continue to use him. Champ. And there might be some guys here who are 23 who time out as well, so you've got to be checking them individually. So maybe 23 just now, but turn 24 before the end of July and stuff as well, so pretty interesting. So yeah, just want to give people a wee bit of an insight to say it looks like there's some bits and pieces there I need to just tidy up myself on the database, but that's been nearly half an hour, so hope you're all enjoying Transfer Deadline Day. As Celtic fans, we definitely are not enjoying Transfer Deadline Day. Anyway, I'm not going to go on a rant about that. I'm going to be having a chat with Quinny later on. So as what it is, we'll see if anybody comes in. Most likely the position I think is left back with Greg Taylor been injured and manager not really trusting Bernabei. But anyways, if you're going to be playing this weekend in customary fashion, good luck and go for it.